Hello guys, and today I am gonna be showing you how you can use Scratch to make this. Today I'm gonna be covering the basic like, things of making a tiled platformer in Scratch. Now, oops, well, guess I haven't put everything ready yet. So first, open Scratch. If you already have a tile set ready, then you can simply just cut it out and go into Scratch, click Create, and get all the costumes. Or otherwise, I will recommend you to go to my tile platform assets, which is here. Anyways, let's get started. So, as you can see, if you use my starter project, you should have 4 sprites. One is Mario. He contains a simple Mario sprite, which is it. And also, he's in the dead pose now. So, next up is Tiles. Now, you should, in case, have at least 56 tiles. Most 8 of them are just animation frames for the game. Now you may be wondering, why do I have this big costume? It doesn't belong with the task, right? Yeah, it doesn't belong with the task set, but it is used because Scratch doesn't allow spots to go off screen. So if I put 99999, it sticks at 261. But if we are the big customer, it's good to 99999. The tile one, which is one of those 16 by 16 tiles, you'll see that it has went off screen. See? Easy peasy. So let's talk about making the grid. So select the golden costume. Click on the coding tab to start creating your day. Now go to the events category and what has happened with scratches with regular blocks. And you can check the ears. Yeah, because I have the Scratch add-ons extension enabled, and I can switch from using Scratch's regular blocks to Scratch's to cat blocks. Now, after using the one green flag, get a forever loop. This is get out go to the XY block, go to loops, and if we set size to 100, which is the routine size, see how small it is on the grid. If we set it to 200, then that would be a lot better. But if we mess around with the settings, then it'll go all wrong. By the way, we should use the width and height of 16 by 16 for your tile. This is important. Now set the size to 200 when we start. Right, now we got a golden block on the screen. Now we need to drag out new variable reporter, and I already made the 2 variable reporters. It's called plum count X and plum count Y, both for all sprites. Now we're going to set plum count X and plum count Y both to something like 5. This may not fill the whole screen, but this is going to be a good thing for testing out the game and seeing if there are any bugs. Now, get out repeat block into some free space. So get a control, repeat variables, get the clone count x variable. Now we're gonna make something called a loop, where we put two repeat blocks in each other. But before we do, we need to actually, I used the wrong variable. Silly me. So I need contact y as the variable. Now change y by -6. Change y by 13. That there, and we also have to switch to I will create clone myself. Now click the green flag to set up the variables. Now click on the repeat script and ooh, we have a little problem. We asked for 5 right over here, but it rendered 6 tiles instead of 5. Now why is that? It's because Scratch. When you use the Scratch program, there is already a tile on stage. So we have already, this is the tile that we have used for creating the clowns. Now, let's start by now adding in the things that we need to make a grid. First, we can simply set our y position to clone count y multiplied by -16. Oops, so 16. Well, that simply just means we need to find the center of the stage and then put the tile there. You may be thinking, it's simple, 0, 0. How? We're using a 5 by 5 grid, then 5 multiplied by -16 would equal to the value of 80, well, 80 and 80. So if I drag out this and click on it, clone count y multiplied by -16 is -80. So now, if I click the green flag to reset my project and click the set Y block, you will see that the tiles center themselves onto the screen. Now, we need to change our X by 32 to start creating a new tile. So click on the block and see what it does. Ooh, the original tile sort of hops to the left. Now you can see that it's actually 5 tiles that got rendered. Now, have we coded this up to do it automatically for us, the grid? Now you can simply use the repeat and do clone count x. Duplicate the set y block, or if you have the patches extension called the Scratch DevTools extension, which is available in the Scratch add-ons. You can get Scratch add-ons, the link is in the description box, and start using the extension and click copy block, paste block. Now if you have Scratch add-ons and you enable the feature where we set to a similar block, you can change it to set X, and we'll change clone Y to clone X. Put this above, click the green flag to reset, click the scripts. Great, but not so great with this little stupid little extra block sitting on the corner around it. Let's simply clean this up by adding the show block on the top and the hide block on the bottom. Now click green flag to reset and click the repeat. After the grid gets rendered on the screen, ooh, much better grid. Now, what shall we do? Now, we have to make this super duper quick, so quick that we can't even see the clones generating. So, for this, you'll need a new custom block. Call it setup. And make sure you click run without screen refresh, because of course you shouldn't see it popping up on the screen one by one. Now put the repeat loop under the setup custom block. Now let us add in I sound like I said lettuce. So let's add a switch custom block under create clone on myself and add a pick random and what numbers it should be. As we have the number 3, we have 3 all the way to 3 to 49. We have 49 tiles. So type 3 to 49. Now click the green flag. And we forgot to put setup under these two. Now click the green flag to see what it does. Wow, instantaneously. I can't even see it rendering on the screen. But we can see that it did render on the screen. Excellent. Now, what about the scrolling? Well, I'm just going to put the setup block here. But before we start making some scrolling, it's better off from keeping from scratches built-in sprite positions of X, Y, and change X and change Y. We are gonna have to use a new variable to store the position for scrolling games. This is important, so don't miss this. So make a new variable, 2 new variables, tile X and tile Y, making sure that you click for this part only. That's very important. Now, tile X and tile Y. For this sprite only, not a cloud variable because that would be silly. I mean, click OK. Find the 2 variables and let's get started. First, switch the. Now, after you're done doing this, you're better off checking everything so that you don't get any mistakes. Set tile Y to blanket Y multiplied by minus 16. Delete block. Change tile Y by 32. Change tile X by 32. So, you know what you're thinking. We're using 32 every single time. So let's set up a new variable called tile size for all these points this time. And set tile size to, we have to set it to 32. Now replace everything that is 32 and replace it using tile size. And for these two, we need tile size divided by 32 multiplied by -1. Or you can say, yeah, this. You have to do 0 minus tile size divided by 32. I mean, not 32, but 2. Now, oops, minus 16. To prove that, oops, I just dropped the block. Sorry, guys. Now, there's this looks a bit chunky, but it'll be fine. Now, if we click, we'll see that, ooh, interesting. Where did all my tiles go? Well, I'll tell you. They're all sitting on top of each other. So let's fix this. Now, is this an emergency? Well, yes and no. Super easy to restore the positions, and right now, as we are using variables instead of setting the real position, well, it's a bit no. So let's fix the problem of putting them in a heap. Make a new broadcast called position tiles. Oops. Click OK. Now, when the sprite receives position tiles, super simple, super easy. Go to X, Y of tile X and tile Y. This will trigger for every clone in the game. Now make sure this is a broadcast, not a custom block. Now click and work. Did those tiles just restore their positions by themselves? Great. Now, you have been waiting for this part for ages, I am thinking. Let's add some gravity. I mean, let's add some things like the movement and stuff. Scrolling. So make two new variables, scroll X and scroll Y. Oops. X and scroll Y. Y. Now hide the two variables and let's get going. Now it's super simple. All we need to do is put two minus blocks, put the tile X here and the tile Y in here. Now get the scroll X in the tile X. I meant to show those variables. Yeah. Now what we're gonna do is put scroll Y in here, put these two in here, and finally finish off the broadcast position tiles with a forever loop around it. Clean up the blocks and let's see what we have made. Ooh, if we change the spokes using the sliders, we can definitely scroll it. Let's change the range from 100 to 500 for both of these. Now, if I scroll, you'll see the game tiles moving on and off screen very nice. But there is one issue. How the heck should we make this the effective scroll? Well, let me tell you. We don't actually want to create a bunch of clones off screen and on screen because That would slow down your computer, and Scratch only allows you to create 300 plants. But if you were to fill the whole screen with tiles, then that would make us have 200 tiles left for the game. And we only have 100 tiles left to render. Now, what we can do is do something called looped scrolling. This basically means that if a tile reaches somewhere like here, we're simply gonna transport it back to here. Clever plan, right? So let's do this. You'll need an if check, and we need a lesser than. Tilex minus scrollx is less than clown count x multiplied by this algorithm, and put it inside this less than. Now we should notice that we have this long if. Now inside the big if, we have to put a check. And not a check, but we have to change the tilex by count x multiplied by tile size. Now if we see, you should see that when we scroll to the right, it'll transport itself to the other side of the screen. Handy, eh? Now let's fix this for the left side. Because right now if we scroll back to the left, you'll see that the tile will simply go through the tile grid, which is not what we wanted, not what we are expecting. Now, first, go into the operators category and get the absolute value. Put it around the tile block and change the less than for a greater than. Now, clean count clean count x. Sorry, guys. Now, instead of putting a multiplier and all these silly algorithms, we can simply remove the 0 minus block and just put tile size divided by 2. That's clever, right? Now get a if else check. And we're gonna check if the tile is simply if the tilex is less than the scrollx, then we're gonna change tilex by count x multiplied by tile size. Or otherwise we're gonna multiply that value. We're gonna do 0 minus it. Now, if we scroll to the left or right, we should see no problem in both directions. Great! So, what's the next step? Well, the next step is actually we need to put the goto. We need to duplicate the if. Because we need some Y scrolling. Because X scrolling is not enough. Y scrolling is absolutely needed. So tile Y minus scroll Y, count Y, tile size divided by 2. If tile Y is less than scroll Y, change tile Y by count Y. Oops, not scroll Y, count Y. And finally tile Y. Now, if we start doing this, you'll see that if we scroll upwards, yeah, we have got some upper scrolling. Now let's fill this stage so that we can actually use this for our game. First, if let's switch to backdrop one so that you can see the solid blue tiles better. Now we are gonna use the larger screen. Now, what's the algorithm for finding it? We need these blocks, stuff to divide in here. Now we need to first Scratchy stage is 480 pixels and wide, and we're gonna divide that by the tile with 32, and we're finally at 1, and that gives us exactly 16 tiles because the number 16 is actually 32 and 32, so 16 and the clunker X. Now we click start, you should see that we have actually got this right view. Now, what's the value for the up and down? So we need 360, which is the height of the stage. Now, this gives us 12.25. Bye bye. So now we have to add a round block in this so that we get exactly 12 tiles. And we actually have to add 2 to this. And we get 13. So that's a bit of a calculation for finding find. Now we have got a full screen of tiles. But are you seeing what I'm seeing? The tiles that went off screen are staying stuck to the edge. No. Now, what shall we do about this? Now, to fix this, we are gonna use the big costume. The costume we're using. This costume, as said on the costume, it's not visible in the game, but it is visible to Scratch and makes it reverse the top screen. Now, first we need one new variable, tile, to indicate the top, because we're gonna doing some switch costumes. So set in the pick random block, we're gonna set tile to that pick random. Now put the switch costume block over here. Oops. I guess I am still running the game, but oh well. Now we have to switch to the biggest costume, which is obviously the big costume. Now put it here. Now if we go, what the are you seeing? What I'm seeing? We have successfully created the full grid of tiles, and they scroll on and off screen very nicely. Great job if you have done well. If you aren't getting it correctly, then please send a comment to YouTube to help me try and solve your problem. And if you have a recording of what's going on wrong, then please put that recording in the comment as well. So, bye!